Hello, sinners. I just wanted to drop in and tell you that My Horror Confessional is now part of the Ghoulish Podcast Network. In addition to producing podcasts, Ghoulish is also a publisher. Ghoulish Books has published dozens of horror books that have gone on to receive award recognition and even film adaptation treatments. Browse their spooky offerings over at ghoulish.rip and use discount code CONFESSIONAL for 10% off your order. And remember, ghouls, live spooky, die spooky. Hello, everyone. My name is Miguel Myers. Welcome to My Horror Confessional, where every week I'll have a guest come on and talk about one classic horror movie that they haven't seen and why. We'll discuss the movie, the actors, and probably get off topic quite a bit. Once I believe they have properly atoned, I will absolve them of their horror movie sin. Today in the confessional, we have returning guest Max Booth III. Max does not exist, and neither do you.
But I'm talking to you right now.
You know what the thing about you is that you probably do you remember that that's what you put as your author's
Yeah,
bio? Okay.
I do.
I just-
It just like I want to pitch you an idea. Instead of having to say all of that every time you do a podcast, you could just record one clip and just put that in at the beginning.
So if, for those who don't know, Max is now my podcast overlord. And so this, while it sounds like he's giving me a suggestion, is now a demand. And I'm feeling unsafe here. No, I know I can do that. I understand that. It feels inauthentic to me, so I don't do that. But I did do that with the ad that you
Yeah.
insisted that I put at the beginning of every episode. You said that you were
That
cutting
doesn't
off
seem
funding
inauthentic to you.
100%. But
Oh,
with that,
okay.
I'm okay. No, I because what I'd have to do is I'd have to do the ad at the beginning and then the intro. Then the guest is like, "What the fuck's going on?" So just like you are right now, and just like the audience is right now. Um,
All right.
Max, Max is probably 4 or 5 time guest on the show. The last one you did was Peeping Tom, which
hmm
was a great movie. And since then,
Was was Peeping Tom also a Christmas movie?
no, it wasn't. Oh shit.
I feel like it had some Winchell vibes to it, maybe.
Yeah,
I guess I
maybe some of
associate
them.
voyeurism with coldness. I don't know.
Or Christmas, because we see here there's in
Yeah.
the talk about there's some voyeurism as well, some peeping Tom shit. But since then, Max has released a book in October. I believe it was October of this year, right? Um, Recently,
Yeah,
fairly recently,
yeah.
called The Last Haunts, which I finished reading about less than 12 hours ago.
Oh
And
God.
yeah, it was, I enjoyed it a lot, and it went somewhere where I was not expecting it to go, which was a lot of fun. But could you tell the
Oh,
listeners?
so wait. So you
Yeah,
were expecting it not to be a lot of fun.
100%. I
Excellent.
mostly read my friends' work just to support. I don't like any of it. I don't like
Oh,
Andrew's stuff. I don't like Zach's stuff. I don't like your stuff. But I
have you
like your
listed all of your
stuff.
fr
Yeah,
is that
those are
all of
all
your
my friends.
friends?
Those are all my friends.
Okay.
Those are all my friends. Um, but so for the listeners, could you let everybody know what The Last Haunt is about?
Yeah, it's about a extreme haunted house attraction. Something goes wrong, and then it's investigated by someone writing a book about the incident. So it's just a bunch of interviews collected together. And that's pretty much all I need to say about it, I think.
Okay. So I'm always wary about asking you this question. Um, the idea for this book.
Yeah.
What drew you to the idea?
Yeah, I'm just obsessed with like haunted house attractions. And I mean, I did them a lot as a kid, not extreme ones though. Did you do them as a kid?
Extreme ones? No, I would never.
No, not extreme ones, but any of them. Like
Oh, I
we grew up not in the same place, but close together. And my brother would always take me to like all the haunted houses around like Newellville, Indiana, and I guess Southern Illinois, like by Chicago. Um,
yeah,
and, like I know there was one like at Joliet. Like my memory is it was like an abandoned prison haunted house
yeah,
attraction. Okay, so that's right. That's right. I know I went to
yeah,
that. That
yeah.
was
In
really cool.
Joliet, there was one like that. No, I never. I went to a couple, but my so first of all, my parents would never take me as a child or whatever. Neither would my brothers. But once I was big enough to go, my girlfriends didn't like it, and I was gonna go by myself and my friends. I was like, it's a very singular hobby, loving horror and all things horror. So I just wasn't gonna go by myself. But there was one in my elementary school, or it was just all one school, kindergarten through eighth grade. But I went to Catholic school and they put on a haunted house. That was really fun because all the kids got to be involved and you got to choose if you wanted to be one of the actors or if you wanted to be like stage design sort of thing. And the way I'm
Yeah.
remembering it, high production value, like one of the scariest things anybody's ever imagined. In real life, it's some kids in the school that we go to every day with some streamers and like their mom's cut up shirt or their dad's cut up shirt or something like that, you know. But I remember it being a ton of fun.
I am just now discovering you went to Catholic school. It's that the whole podcast makes a lot more sense right now.
Yeah, I'm working out this religious trauma. So that's the
I thought
confessional.
you were
That's why you're in the
just
confessional.
oh. I mean, I always wondered why you had a religious podcast, but now I know.
Yeah, now you
Interesting.
got it. So now we're gonna
And
bow our
yeah,
heads and pray to Jesus.
I would hit my microphone. I'm really
Okay.
close to it. Yeah.
Okay. But so I understand that you're not the best at this. So I'm just gonna say one more thing about The Last Hunt. It's a lot of fun. And this is the second. No. This first. One of the most
I'm
fun
not the
things
best
that.
at this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, forget what I said. He's great at it, and I'm terrible. John Baltusberger shows up
Yeah.
as a cop, and
No one's surprised.
I love the fact that yeah, nobody knows this, but John Baltusberger, Madness Heart Press, he's a what the hell is it called? A kaiju, Jewish kaiju author, right? And the fact that he's a cop in this book, knowing that he would hate,
Yeah.
knowing that he would hate to be a cop is amazing. So much fun. But I show up in it as well. Now, I don't remember signing any sort of like deal saying that you could use my likeness or my name in it. So when it comes to like royalties, is that do we come like is that quarterly or
Do you think I'm getting royalties for this book?
who did it come out with? Because I know you didn't publish this one, right?
Crystal, no. Cemetery Gates Media put it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. But people can buy it at ghoulish.rip.
They
Right.
can, and I will sign it. I think I have about 12 copies left in stock until I have to email Cemetery Gates and go, please, I need more copies.
Yeah. And great cover by Trevor Henderson, who also appears in the book, which is great.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was a last minute addition to it because it was a different name, and then I did a copy paste before I sent the book in because it was just some random name that wasn't someone I know. Most of the names in the books are people like I'm friends with or secretly enemies with. Yeah, I thought, well, I need to also make one of the main protagonists someone I know. And Treville Hendelson is an okay name, but his sister in the book is named Jessica Hendelson. And I don't know any Jessica. I know some Jessicas, but this isn't like a throwback to someone I know. I just found Jessica Hendelson such a great like Final Grill type of name. I really like
Mhm.
that. And I emailed Treville to say, "Hey, is it okay if I use your name in this book?" But mostly I wanted to make sure like he also didn't have a relative named Jessica because I think it would have been pretty awkward due to some of the stuff that I say about Jessica in this book. I didn't want it to be like an accidental like insult to like his own sister in case he had a sister named Jessica. He doesn't,
Mhm.
he's told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Does that answer your fucking questions?
reading it though, it feels like this could very easily be turned into a script. I know that the just the imagery of it felt really like movie like, and especially that ending is just kind of perfect. So when you were writing it, did it feel to you like you were writing for the screen?
No, I have no intention of trying to get this made. In fact, I think I pissed off my movie and TV rep because he was reading the book and he's like, "Yeah, this is really good. I could see a way to make this into a documentary." And I was like, "Well, FYI, the book is loosely inspired by a real man named Russ McCamey, not based on Russ McCamey, but inspired by." And by some wild coincidence, a documentary about Russ McCamey came out like a week before my book came out. So if a movie were to be made, it would have to be really different from being too similar to this documentary that just came out, which again, I didn't even know was happening until the book was done and about to come out. So I don't know
Yeah.
how we would adapt this book and make it different enough from like the documentary. My only idea would be to almost rewrite it so it's even more of a comedy, maybe even like a parody and a like I don't know if you've seen the mockumentary movies by Christopher Guest, like Best in Show,
Yeah, I
but
love those
something like
movies.
that I think would be the way to go.
Okay. Reading it, it felt like maybe not so much. I was thinking Session 9. Have you seen Session 9?
I have.
Yeah, that, but more likely though, I felt like Lake Mungo
Hmm.
vibe to it. So Liz, we'll stop talking about it, but I just want to let everybody know The Last Haunt. It's a great book. Support Max Booth the Third. You can buy it on ghoulish.rip. Today we're here to talk about Christmas Evil from 1980. So you're here to confess your sin of never having watched that movie. Is that correct?
That is true. I've never seen this movie that I didn't know existed until you asked if I wanted to watch it.
Okay. You're
I mean,
ruining
I
my
know I know like the theme of the podcast is like, oh, I need to admit like all these reasons why I've avoided it throughout my life. Didn't even know it existed until you said, "Hey, how about this Christmas movie?" And I said, "Yeah,
and
sounds good."
and and you're welcome. You're welcome, by the way. Right.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was a lot of fun. So Christmas Evil from 1980, written and directed by Lewis Jackson. And Lewis Jackson, by the way, went on to do absolutely nothing after this. His life was
Yeah.
meaningless after this. No, I mean I'm sure he did something, but he didn't write or direct anything else. But it was
Have
also
you?
known as, sorry, I was just saying he was also known as You Better Watch Out, and then also Terror in Toyland, which
Mhm.
I kind of like. I like Terror in Toyland, really. I like that name a lot. But Christmas Evil, not the best name. Christmas Eve, I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. What were you gonna
He
say?
he disowns this title actually. His title is You Better Watch Out. It wasn't his choice to rename it. He wasn't even consulted about that. It just happened on some re-release.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you paid attention in the beginning of the movie, it actually has the title code, You Better Watch
Mhm.
Out.
Yeah,
Neville
and I
says
love
Christmas
that.
Evil. Hmm.
I have it one of my notes is like I love it when a movie shows a different title card than what you thought it was or what you know it as. And I think that happened with the movie I did last week that I haven't released yet. One second.
Sometimes it could backfire and it could just be the wrong movie. You clicked on the wrong movie, like, oh, ha,
Si-
ha, it's a different title, but it's just you clicked on the wrong movie.
Silent Night, Deadly Night. That was the one that when it showed up, it had a different name on it. So I always love that.
What
But
what was it called? I don't know that.
you listen to the episode when it comes out to find out.
I'm not gonna listen to it.
Yeah, I know. Um, so it's starring Brandon Maggart or Magart, probably Maggart, as Harry Stadling, who's the killer Santa Claus. Jeffrey
Mhm.
DeMunn as Philip Stadling, who's Harry's younger brother. And did you recognize Jeffrey DeMunn at all? The brother of Philip?
Ooh. He looked familiar. He looked like a Raimi, but I know that wasn't him.
No, so he's been in a bunch of shit, but for me, he's always going to be Dale from the Walking Dead. And but he's been in tons of shit. He was in The Green Mile. He was Harry Terwilliger in The Green Mile. In The Mist, he's Dan Miller. In The Blob,
Okay.
he's Sheriff Herb Geller. So like this guy has been acting forever, and he's one of those like character actors that when you see him, you're like, holy
Yeah.
shit. But he was so young in this movie, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah. I didn't recognize him as that. He just kind of looks vaguely like Ted Raimi to me. The other guy who plays Santa Claus, what was his name? Brandon something?
Yeah, Brandon McGart.
He is the the father of Fiona Apple. I thought that was odd.
Oh, like in real
Fiona
life?
Apple's, yeah, yeah. He has
Oh,
like seven
wow.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
didn't
other
realize that.
ones, all musicians and writers, I didn't recognize, but the one kid I did recognize was Fiona Apple.
That's pretty
He's
cool.
also been in a bunch of stuff, but nothing I've seen.
Yeah, I saw that he was in like Dress to Kill, which that's one that's been on my list to see that I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, he is in that, and it came out the same time as this movie. Both came out in 1980.
Yeah. What's so funny is that so I was talking last week about Silent Night Deadly Night, which came out in 1984, and that had a huge backlash against it when it came out. Like all the moms got together and like tried to boycott it and got it kicked uh, out of theaters. At one point, it came out the same day as Nightmare on Elm Street, and at one point, it was doing better box office wise than Nightmare on Elm Street. But then these moms got together and they got it kicked out of the theaters. But this movie came out 4 years earlier, and there was nothing. Nobody protested it, nothing like that. So it's just like it's so funny which ones they choose to um I don't know, choose
Picket,
to yeah,
protest.
pick it. Yeah, protest, right. So
Um, this movie was hated. I mean, no one liked it when it came out. Like I was reading some interview with Lewis Jackson, and he was talking about like how every screening he sat in on, people just booed and threw stuff at the screen, which is crazy. Can you imagine an audience throwing stuff at a screen now? I can't. That's like some crazy shit from the past that doesn't happen anymore, I don't think. But no one understood like it was kind of a dull comedy, and everyone thought it would be like a slasher, but it wasn't a slasher at all. Not, I mean, it's not that type of movie. And even the people who financed the movie were pissed once they saw it because I don't know like what was different in the script that came out in the final movie, but they will also expecting a slasher in the same vein as like Halloween, but he was never interested in making something like that. He wanted to do more of a like a Kill Chill piece similar to Taxi Driver, which is what this is. And no one liked it. And it only recently began like getting an audience. I don't know why that is, but no one liked it. He wasn't really given many more opportunities to make movies. According to Letterboxd, he made what might be a pornographic movie, but no one can seem to find it now. Like it was shown once and lost. It was called something like The Sandwich. So I don't know quite what that is. And the only other thing I could find with them, which is super sad, I thought, was like in 2016, he launched an Indiegogo to finance this documentary he wanted to make about the first woman in the U.S. to be um electrocuted by the state. And he was trying to raise like 125,000 and he raised like $150 and that was it. Just
That's messed
nothing.
up.
I
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's all he made. I mean, at this point, Christmas Evil is like a beloved Christmas hero movie. I mean, I didn't know about it, but Googling around, people love this movie. How is that all he made? Like, did he not, maybe he didn't promote it at all. Maybe he didn't like try to do any interviews to promote it. But I mean, it just, the Indiegogo came and then died. And that's all I could find about him.
Yeah, and it's such a shame because like the writing of this movie is so good, and I have my problems with it. It's not a perfect film, but I love it. It's really good. Um, and I know that like the cinematography is really great. Some of the shot compositions, there's one in particular, it's one of my favorite scenes that I've seen in a horror movie or a movie in quite a while, and it's later on when he's running from the mob and
Hmm.
down an alley and he's in the foreground and they're in the background and it's just a wide shot of this dark snowy alley. Looks great. And so you just stuff like that you don't consider in a movie called Christmas Evil from 1980. And for you were talking about slashers, so what I was reading is that he had this movie written before Halloween came out. So Halloween came out in 1978, and this movie they started shooting it in 79 and came out in 80. But and like you were saying, the studio or the producers wanted, at this time 1980, we're post Halloween, everybody's, we got I think Friday the 13th is going to come out in 81, I think, or something like that. So like we're right in the midst of like all these Halloween wannabes and the slasher wannabes. So that's what they want, like you said. But I don't think this is a slasher at all. I don't see it as a slasher. Um, he's not. Well, maybe one scene where he's like stalking in the darkness a little bit, but it's like it's not that. It's like we're with the character the whole time. He is our main character. And I know like the rise of Leslie Vernon has did that as well, and that is a slasher. So that's not the only thing that defines it, but the writing I think defines it as a slasher or not, and I don't see it as a slasher here.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a slasher, then so is Taxi Driver. I mean, have you seen Taxi Driver? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a while. It's
Okay.
been a long time, but
I mean, this is really much like a Paul Schrader Christmas movie. I don't get slasher vibes at all. I haven't seen the Leslie Vernon movie, but to me, a slasher movie shouldn't be from the point of view of the slasher. It doesn't make sense to me. You need that mystery of like who is haunting the protagonist. And in this case, it's not really that. And also he's not like going round and round and just killing people. I mean, he does do that a little bit at the end, but after we see him like completely break down, I mean, I don't know. But what you were saying, I mean, maybe it's just because you and I have been doing nothing but watching shot on video film movies lately, but it was nice to watch something shot on film. This movie is really nice to look at. Everything is great. Um, Also, just what was the budget on this movie? I mean, those like no names in the cast. First time filmmaker. How the fuck did he get this financed? I mean, it looks good. There's so many set pieces and so many kills in this movie. I mean, there's a church, there's like an office, there's a school, a hospital. I mean, there's so many set pieces.
I think it was 850,000.
He made that look good.
Yeah, it looked great. All right, let's finish talking about. Let's get into the movie. So, also it's starring Diane Hall as Jackie stating, and that's Philip's wife. Real quick, I just want to talk about Diane Hall. She studied acting in California with Lee Strasberg. If you're not familiar with Lee Strasberg, he was the inventor or the creator of like method acting, where she was discovered by Elia Kazan, and he cast her in his 1969 movie, The Arrangement. She went on to working as an acting coach, giving lessons and teaching classes to working stage and film actors. And I think she's still doing that to this day, which is kind of cool. All right. So into Christmas Evil, we get a title card, Christmas Eve, 1947, and we're in suburban New Jersey. We come to find out. And then we hear the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" poem. And I think it's shot fantastically. I love how this looks. But what's happening is Santa Claus comes down the chimney, which we find out later humans can't really do, or like an adult-sized man can't do. Zach might be able to do it, but
I thought you were talking about men.
oh, that's right. He won't listen, so that's fine. And he's like, Santa is relishing in life right now. Like they've left out water for him to wash his hands. There's cookies, there's milk, and he's like, oh, Mom. He's like taking it all in. And the mom has this really weird look on her face. It's like fascination mixed with horniness. Like, I don't know if you noticed that or not.
That's how I
Maybe
look most of the time.
That's what I'm seeing right now. Yeah. But
It
was just
go
like,
subscribe to Miguel's Patreon to see that.
nice. But yeah, the mom's face is just the way it's shot looked great. And it was really surreal. But it turns out that it was just the kids remembering it. How it went down. It's not really how it went down. So then Harry and Philip get into a fight or an argument because Harry says that Santa isn't real, that it was in fact their dad. And he goes,
wait, you're skipping over a really important thing.
which is what?
What was Santa doing?
Hasn't happened yet. It's going to
Oh, it
happen in a
hasn't?
second. No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So he goes downstairs to check, and that's when Harry catches his mother being felt up by his father, who is dressed up as Santa Claus. And he's like, she has some stockings on, and he's like rubbing her leg sensually, and then like she's giggling. Like, realistically, this is just a loving couple like engaging in sex, right? Who think that their children
Yeah.
are asleep. So I will
But
say this one thing.
he's doing more than that though. He is I mean, this movie should be called I Saw Mommy Getting Eaten Out by Santa Claus. He's going to town. You didn't get that?
I didn't see that.
Dude, his face is right into it, man.
I
He
thought,
is
okay, all right,
I even sent a photo of it in the group chat because I was
yeah,
so impressed.
okay. I thought that makes it different. I thought he was just like kissing her leg and like caressing it, stuff like that.
Oh,
Okay, so it was
no.
dirtier than that. Okay.
Oh yes.
Well, I was
Um,
about to say, this kid is really sensitive if that fucks him up for his whole life and leads him to being a murderous Santa Claus 35 years later or whatever. But maybe seeing your mom getting eaten out by Santa Claus is different.
What what a great song that would be too, by the way. I'm sure
Yeah,
it's a song someplace.
it's
Also,
definitely.
bold move, I have to say, doing that with the Santa build still on you. Can you imagine how scratchy that was? And also, have you ever stuck your tongue out through one of those fake builds? It's all gonna go on your tongue too. That's all I can think
No, I
about while
haven't.
watching this
I
movie.
have no. Um, so much has changed about this movie now. Now, yeah, I don't know how
Do you
I
need
would
some
have
time?
reacted. I need some time. I need some time with this. Um, so so he catches his mother being eaten out by Santa Claus, apparently. Heartbroken, Harry then rushes up to the attic and then he cuts his hand with a shard of glass from a shattered snow globe. He so I literally put, why did this affect him so much? But okay. But the thing is, even that, like that's enough to like fuck you up for the rest of your life. Like I don't think what was he there? Maybe 8 years old, seven, whatever. Like
Yeah, I think
he
two
doesn't really know
things.
what's happening there.
I think two things. I think it shadowed his reality of what Santa Claus was, and that kind of made him snap a bit. And also, I mean, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure this kid is on the spectrum a little bit. And that kind of goes forward into his once he grows up. I don't think he's quite mentally developed,
Hmm.
and all of this leads to him doing that. I don't know if a child would even understand the concept of suicide. Look, he's not even trying to do suicide. He just like slices between his two fingers. So
Hmm.
it is dramatic, but it looks cool because this movie has 1980s blood, which is really bright red. And that's my favorite type of blood.
Yeah. So he cuts his um hand with the shattered snow globe, and then the blood falls down onto other parts of the snow globe. Then it fades to a red screen, and we see "You Better Watch Out," which is the title of the movie. So then it's 33 years later. We're in the year 1980. Well, it says present day, so I'm assuming 1980. We see that the adult Harry's at home and he's taken it upon himself to become like the next true Santa Claus because he like sleeps in a Santa costume. His apartment is decorated all year round with Christmas toys and decorations. And then he even has a calendar or a chalkboard up front up on his wall that says 55 days until Christmas. Your
I have
movie.
a fun trivia
Yeah.
thing about this. He evidently spent a decade buying any type of Christmas thing he could find. Like if he went someplace and saw like a Christmas statue, he bought it. So I don't know if he had the idea for this movie that long or if he just loves
Hmm.
Christmas, but he said he spent a decade just collecting a vast like assortment of odd Christmas junk. And then after the movie wrapped, the cast and crew took all of it. He told them they could, but like
Oh, okay.
everything was taken. He had nothing. He had none of it left.
I heard that there was three Santa suits, and two of them were stolen in production. So they only had the one there. So yeah, people were just had sticky hands.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was wild because 55 days until Christmas is like Halloween time, right? That's still Halloween. And
Yeah.
I know I start celebrating Halloween 2 months early, but to celebrate Christmas 2 months early is wild.
I didn't see that sign, but I was reading something and they talked about how when he calls his brother up and says, "Yeah, I'm not coming today." I thought that was like a Christmas get together, but it turns out that was Thanksgiving he was bailing
Yeah.
on. I
Yeah.
didn't even comprehend that, but it makes sense because he was watching the Thanksgiving parade on TV too. I guess I just didn't comprehend that it was not even close to Christmas yet. Although if you like go into like fucking, I almost said K-Mill. That's not relevant now. If you went into like Wellmill or something, everything is Christmas out like by Thanksgiving anyway.
Yeah, even before, like immediately after Halloween.
Yeah.
Uh, so then he's shaving him, and he sees himself as Santa with the white. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna start that over again. He's shaving, and he puts the white foam on him, and it forms a kind of a white beard, and so he kind of sees himself as Santa. But then he has a flashback to when he saw Mama, or I guess Santa kissing Mama in the nether region part of the
I
body
saw
there.
I saw Santa licking my mom's pussy.
No, I will be editing that out. There's going to be a bleep.
Don't.
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't
I'll
I
leave it
don't
in
feel.
for that wonderful joke that you made.
Thank you. That's all I can think of.
So then the next day, or maybe that same day, time, like you mentioned, time is kind of weird in this movie because we'll skip weeks, we'll skip hours, we'll skip a day or so. Then like it'll be like nighttime, but it's supposed to be, or daytime, but it's supposed to be nighttime in the next scene, whatever. So
Yeah. I
but
do want to say I didn't know what this movie was about when I went into it. I You just told me the title. I saw it was on Tubi. I said, okay, I'm gonna watch it. And when he's like, he has this huge, comically big book that he keeps all these records of what kid is being naughty and every naughty thing they do. I thought this was going to be a movie about him just fucking punishing children who are naughty. And that would have been cool too. Although I think I like what does happen more than what I thought was going to happen. But it sets it up to be that way. I mean, he's easily a Prilville with these children. I mean, he has like a telescope or something. He's just peeping in every one of these kids' room, just keeping track of everything they do. And so it's like one child who can't com who's like perfect. Someone I think her name is Susie or Susan, and he's always like, "Yeah, she is great." And I don't know what's up with that, but it seems suspicious to me.
100%. He's on the roof of his house looking to the house to the neighbors next door, and like you said, he was looking in their rooms for the good and the bad children. One is like doing household chores. Susie's like playing with her doll, which makes her good apparently. And then he sees Moss Garcia. Moss Garcia is shown looking in a Penthouse magazine and cutting out the nude photograph. Once he sees this, Harry runs back home and writes Moss's name in his Bad Boys and Girls book. And it's
Yeah.
so fucking creepy. And if this feels like a John Waters Christmas horror movie, which is kind of spot on because I've heard that this is John Waters' favorite Christmas horror movie. So
Yeah.
he like suggests it to everybody. He actually did the commentary for like the first Blu-ray release of this or something like that. So
And I wish I
um,
could have listened to that. That would be cool.
I got to track that down. Yeah, but
Was that a
these
pun? You have to track down that track?
yeah, that's what I was going for. Thank you for catching that. Um, the books look great as props. They look great, but what I why isn't there a page in both books for when they're good and bad? Is nobody's always naughty and nobody's always nice, you know? It seems like
Yeah.
once you get into the naughty book, you can always be in the naughty book. And Hillary and I, we were watching this together, and she was like, "Yo, this is really like Santa Claus myth. This is creepy. This is essentially what he does. If he knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. Like this is how that looks like, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you imagine it, like how else would he be keeping tabs?
Right.
He's just watching you through a window.
It's
Also
just
reminds me of what it's like to go into debt, right? Once you owe the government, you never stop owing the government. You'll never on that good list again, buddy.
wow.
What's
That's so close to home.
you like that?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Commentary,
Thank you.
social commentary. Um, but yeah, so he runs back home, puts was it Moss Garcia's name down, And
Yeah,
did
the
you
greatest
did
name of all time. I love that name, Mos Garcia.
the I was looking at the page with Moss Garcia's crimes against humanity. Do you remember it? Did you write any of these down?
I wanted to, but then I just didn't. But I
I
did
got you.
see a lot of them. Okay, read them.
Uses profane language, crosses against the light, gets up late every day, picks his nose. He's describing you at this point. Impure thoughts and negative body hygiene, which, as Max, as the Patreon subscribers will see, is blowing his nose right in the camera. Love it. And then in the good girls section, he put Susie Lovett has her own page, and he just write just a darling. So okay, so definitely something weird about that.
Yeah.
So now we go to the Jolly Dreams toy factory, where Harry has recently been promoted to a manager. And we meet this guy, Frank, who's a complete asshole. All people and things named Frank are assholes, including dogs.
This is a toy factory in real life as well. I think like one of the producers like dads owned it, so that's how they got the set.
Wow, you want to know how you're problematic? It was one of the producer's moms who owned it.
I don't believe you.
It, it was in the trivia. I'll just say that much.
Okay.
Um,
Doesn't sound
but
right.
we meet Frank, and Frank needs somebody to take his shift for that night. And he grabs Harry's sandwich out of his hand and just starts taking a bite. Where in what world? Here's the thing, though. I know you made mention of Taxi Driver and like the comparisons to it. I think it's
Yeah.
Travis Bickle, right? I
Yeah.
think Travis Bickle dealing with like childhood prostitution and like drug use is way
Yeah.
more than this dude seeing his mom getting eaten out and somebody eating some part of the sandwich.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I am I can understand how one person's issues can't be compared to someone else's issues. So, I mean, everyone
That's
has some problems.
that's true. Also,
But
childhood sex workers. No, they can't even be. That's okay. I don't know.
ex- excuse me?
Childhood
What are you ta
victims.
what are
I'm
you
trying to say
talking about?
because I said childhood prostitution.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, I don't think so. All right, moving on.
No,
Moving
no,
on.
no. Victims.
Childhood victims, right? Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Moving on. So,
Um,
go ahead.
he's been promoted, right?
Yeah.
But we don't see that scene. I guess it's a deleted scene where he gets a promotion. I didn't. That's what I was reading. It's some deleted scene. He gets promoted, but he's like bummed out about it, right? Because he prefers to be on the assembly line making the toys, but now he's like a fucking desk jockey now.
And there's some aspect of that because he um when we're first introduced to him right now, he's talking to the line workers and he's like, "You guys just don't understand like what it takes to make quality toys and how it feels to a kid to have a quality toy or whatever." And in the later on in the movie, we see once he snapped, he starts making his own toys. He starts smelting in his torture dungeon, his toy torture dungeon. And so he's like, that's another one of those aspects where he's like, he thinks society isn't making high quality toys anymore.
Do you want to talk about that scene now? Or wait a second, because I have
Sure.
questions about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it
What
now.
was going on in that scene? Because I think I like got up to get a cup of coffee and I maybe missed the beginning of it. I thought he was making like bombs or something. I didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, he was melting. It looked like tin, possibly, or it wouldn't be
Okay.
silver. Silver would be too fucking expensive, I would think. But he's melting tin, and then he has a mold, and so he's dropping
Yeah.
the tin into the mold, letting it dry, and that's yeah. But it did look very dark. It looked like Freddy's dungeon, like it was a lot of stuff down there.
Yeah. So he was making toys? I guess
Yeah,
I was confused because there's also a scene where he goes around like stealing toys. So I thought those were the toys he was handing out. So is he doing both?
he's doing both. Yeah.
It's not necessarily. You could have cut one of those scenes.
Yeah. Well, he ends up, I think, killing somebody with one of his toys, which
Oh, okay.
oh, right here, like this guy right here on the
Well,
Patreon, if you can see this guy.
I didn't realize. I thought that was a toy they made at the factory.
They do
I
make
don't know.
similar toys, but they're cheap plastic ones.
You are right
So
though. It does look like that scene in the beginning of Night Mill. He's making the glove.
yeah,
Really
exactly.
similar vibes.
Yeah. So then later Frank calls and basically tells Harry that Harry is going to work his shift for him. And so this is kind of like Harry is being like pushed around sort of thing, right? And so he works the shift for him. On his way home from that double shift, Harry peeps into the window of a local bar and sees Frank, his coworker, and Frank is basically bragging that he made Harry like work this double shift, and he didn't really need to. He said that he was leaving town this like tonight, but in fact he's leaving tomorrow. And so Harry becomes angry that Frank lied to him about leaving town early. He rushes home, and I love that whenever something big happens, he just runs. He's like Forrest
Yeah.
Gump. He just runs home. And there's a scene later on with what's the kid's name, Moses or the weird
Moscow Garcia.
Mas Garcia, where this shit happens to, and it's but anyway. So
Yeah.
he
Is it that scene when he's running home that he overheal? No, it's like it's in the daytime. It's also a scene in the daytime where he's walking and he passes a house of kids. And he's like, "Oh, Merry Christmas! What do you?" I don't know why I sound like Kermit the Frog. What do you want? And they all say some shit. The male skill CS says, "I want a lifetime subscription to Penthouse magazine." And man, this Santa Claus immediately gets pissed off.
he goes, Mas Garcia. I was laughing.
I
Um,
read that the kid actor kept trying to actually read the magazine, and his mom, who was on set, was getting really mad.
like trying to look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Why
Like the
wouldn't they give
actual
him a
was,
fake magazine?
I
That's
don't
weird.
know.
Like you could just have the
Because
cover be real and the inside be fake.
yeah, I don't know.
He was the real Mas Garcia.
He was similar to that boy in Blood Lake, I believe, which
Oh
we'll
yeah,
never
yeah.
speak of again.
Never again.
Have
But
you mentioned the fact on this podcast that you have a second podcast now?
I have not. Oh, I no, I haven't. So for people who are still listening, Max and I have a podcast together called Decade Tapes, where we talk about shot on video movies. They're not just we're not just saying horror movies, right? We've also done um what was the one with the woman from The Exorcist, Linda Blair,
How to Get Revenge.
How to Get Revenge, which is like a 60-minute movie or a 40-minute movie that's basically like a commercial on how to get revenge, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
like an infomercial.
like an infomercial, right, right, right. So we do that. We drop albums. We drop
We
episodes
drop
every other week.
elbows.
They come out
Yeah,
on Mondays, I believe. And we have a Patreon for that
sometimes
as well. Decade
we do.
Tapes. Go listen to that.
Decade tapes, buddy.
Yeah.
One of my notes says blackface. Do you know
You're
what
way
that's?
ahead of me. No, no, we're not there. We're not there yet.
I thought, oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, no,
That's my
no.
next note.
Um, so he runs home and he like is kind of losing it. He's like rocking himself back and forth. He's humming like this Christmas tune. He grabs one of these figures and he starts like choking it and like getting more and more agitated and until it eventually breaks in his hands. And I thought this is pretty great acting here specifically, but throughout by Brandon Maggart. Like I think he did a great job.
Yeah, you can tell like, yeah, this is the dad of Fiona Apple. Definitely.
You could tell that he's going through a lot of he's just going through it right now. A lot of stress. He's really
The,
distressed. So
you could say like these are the dog days.
I don't get it.
It's Fiona Apple suck.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry,
That's
go
a good
ahead.
one. No, no, no. Criminal. I think is that a Fiona Apple song?
I believe so.
Yeah,
You
that's what
know
I'm
what he
thinking of.
needs to do? He needs to fetch the bolt cuddles is what he needs to do. That's the name of one of the albums. Go on. You're not a fan of Fiona Apple.
The name of the album is called Fetch the Bolt Cutters.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good name for an album.
It's
All
a
I know
pretty
is
good album.
she had an album that had like 100, like a shit ton of words, like the longest title ever.
I don't know about that.
How the fuck do I know about that and you don't know about that? You're supposed and you're her biggest fan.
I've listened to one album.
Is it that album?
Yeah,
Yeah, sick, sick.
it's
All right.
pretty good.
Anything else about Fiona Apple? You wanna?
I mean, not at the moment, but I expect it Phil to pop up again before we finish the episode.
What's your favorite song off the album?
I don't know.
What's your favorite Fiona Apple song?
Probably the Dog Days one, which is not even on that album. So I mean, I'm just fucking throwing you full twist after twist.
Do you think Fiona Apple's ever released like a Christmas album?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Is she still recording now?
That one album I talked about came out like within the last half decade. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Do you think we can get her as a guest? Do
I'm
you think
sure we
she's
could.
seen this movie?
She asked if it's her dad.
I don't
If
know.
I'm in this movie and I have a daughter named Fiona Apple, wait, so like her name is actually Fiona Maggart? Yeah, I would change it too.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
change it.
It's a long name. Hold on, Fiona. I was on the Wikipedia page real deal. Fiona Apple Magwilt. I guess Apple's the middle name. Okay, let's find this long album title now. Hold on. God damn it.
Go for it. And if you like what you're hearing, you get more of this on Decayed Tapes.
Oh wow. I'm not gonna even attempt to read this album, but it's pretty long.
Yeah, I was right.
I
So you see?
believe you now. Wow. I think we're done talking about Fiona Apple.
No, I want to make sure that you get it all out of your system now because if it comes up again, I'm going to flip my desk. I,
I don't have a desk.
I won't.
Oh, is that what you did in my desk? Is that why it won't fucking close correctly?
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah.
All right.
So back to Chris.
Blackface.
No, not yet. So
Damn it.
at night, some random night, he peeping toms his brother and his brother's wife making out, and he has flashbacks. This his brother and his brother's wife, they're like always getting it on. They're like so loving and they're like just hugging and kissing and being sexually together. It's kind of nice to see. But he's like
If you
peering
if you
into the
think that's
house.
nice, I have some movies to show you. I
Like
mean,
where I could see more of that.
yeah. Have you seen a movie called Bat?
You know, Fiona
I don't
Apple
know what
has
I'm
a
doing.
pretty nice music video for Criminal where she was
Yeah,
dressed up like in an underwear. That was a pretty nice one.
yeah.
I felt people were all hugging and stuff like that. That was cool.
Um, go ahead.
Okay. And the following morning, oh, so I'm sorry. So he has the flashbacks when he sees his brother and his wife hanging, making out. So the following morning, Harry phones his younger brother Phil, and cancels his plans to come over for Thanksgiving dinner with the family. It seems like he'd rather watch the Thanksgiving Day parade. All of this parade footage was shot by the director himself, so that's why he was able to use it. Then we see him in the mirror trying on Santa wigs. And then we also see him making his Santa Claus suit by hand. in his dungeon, he's painting a sleigh on the side of his van while reciting kids' names and apparently the toys they want. So either he's making these kids up and what they want, or they're real kids and he's guessing what they want, or even worse, they're real kids and he's asked them what they want. Like what the hell is happening here?
Does he mention the Penthouse magazine subscription? I
I
I
swear
don't
to you,
recall this scene.
Max, when we get there, I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you tell you about
When
the
we get what?
lifetime subscription to the Penthouse magazine
Have
scene.
haven't we already covered that? We've
Not
already
yet.
talked about that.
Not yet.
Oh, well, I don't know. This movie, sometimes it's Thanksgiving, sometimes it's Christmas. I can't keep up.
I agree. Now, he's walking home. Nope.
Yeah.
Let me start that over again. Hold on one second.
Oh, my bad. Oh shit. Fuck my life.
So he's walking home and he encounters a bunch of kids on the stoop, and he asks them all what they all wish for, and they say various things. And there's Susie. Oh, and he says, "Susie, you're looking so beautiful," and like she curtsies.
Yeah. It was
Very
really
weird. Very
uncomfortable.
weird.
And nothing ever happens with that, thankfully. But also, why was it leading up to something that got cut? I don't understand. Like, I almost feel like it was leading to him like kidnapping Susie because she was like the greatest child. Like, I don't wait, no. It does lead to something with Susie later on. We'll get to that. I
But to
forget.
me, I know it seems weird to us in our point of view, but I think maybe they're thinking that he is not a sexual person.
Hmm.
It's still wrong. Like it's still crazy wrong and inappropriate, all this sort of shit. But I think what they're showing us here is that he's not looking at them in any other way other than through the lens of naughty or nice, or like being
Yeah.
children and being innocent and pure or whatever. But still very, very fucking weird and inappropriate. But
Everything you
this
just
is,
said made me uncomfortable.
yeah. But this is when we see that Moss Garcia says that he wishes for a lifetime subscription to Penthouse magazine, and he yells,
Yeah.
Moss Garcia. And this is so fucking funny to me. And you said earlier, like I don't remember who said it, if the director said it or not, but that they were going for black comedy or dark comedy.
Yeah, he
Uh,
did. Yeah, he did.
okay. I didn't really get that, but going back, like talking with you about it now, I can see it being that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like a mix of comedy and also like tragedy. I mean, the movie's really sad, I thought. But there's a few scenes that were funny, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just bleak and a bundle of a time.
So then we go back to his house and he's at his desk and he's got a picture of Susie on his desk. He's just looking at it like, oh, what a lovely girl. And then he's like, he puts her away and says, this isn't for your eyes or something like that. And he brings out the Bad Boys and Girls book. And he, he looks at the book. He opens up to Moss Garcia and he runs he runs to Moss's house again, just running everywhere. And again, he's peeping Tom, and he looks in and he sees Moss like watching a horror movie, or it hears that we can hear the horror movie in the background. Moss seems
Yeah.
like a fun ass kid.
I want to be Moss's friend. He's
Yeah,
awesome. Thinking about like him running, that just goes with the whole thing of him still being like a kid, like mentally.
yeah,
I mean, kids will always just running around. They don't walk. They only walk when you want them to the quicken little pace, and then like a fucking slug. But otherwise, they're just running constantly, and that's kind of what he does in this movie.
yeah. I agree. That's pretty good. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, I agree. But then this is where, for some reason, Harry grabs mud and rubs over his face, and I was like, "Oh fuck, is it going to be blackface?"
Yeah,
I was really
is it?
concerned about this, but no,
I
I don't.
mean,
It's not.
no.
It's not. It's not blackface. But he marks the house. He like puts his hands in his face up against the house and marks it somehow.
With his,
For
he
some reason.
kisses it.
Yeah,
He
he kisses
kisses
it.
the house. And
Yeah.
it's so odd. It's so fucking strange because I don't think we have anything to do with this house again once the scene is over with. Because doesn't he? Oh no, he comes back later on. I was thinking
Yeah.
that it was all the same scene, but it's not. It's two different scenes.
Yeah. I don't know if there's some sort of thing about Santa marking the house of bad children or whatever. I don't know if that's
With
part of
his
the
lips.
lore. No, not with his lips. And his hands, I don't know. But maybe there's something like that in the lore. I don't know. But
Maybe I have no idea, man. I thought it
yeah.
was super strange though, and at this point, I'm still thinking: is he gonna kill like the naughty kids? What is he doing? Where is this movie going?
Yeah.
But but there's no child death in this movie. Spoiler alert.
Which is a good thing. That's a good thing. Um so so then Harry the mother and Moss are coming out of the house. He has to hide in the bushes, but Moss sees him and he goes to look in the bushes and is kind of grabbed by Harry, but his mom like yells for him first and like drags him back to the car and even slaps him. And I'm thinking, what a wonderful mother.
Yeah, he's like, there's someone in the bush, and she's like, shut up, and slaps him. Pretty funny.
And she's like, "Oh, you would ruin my only night out or something." I'm like, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
they're gonna go play Mahjong. And he's like, I hate Mahjong. And she's like, you don't play it, I play it. Now come on,
But I
bastard. You ruined my life.
I wonder what would have happened. I wonder what he would have done if he had actually gotten Moss. Like if the mom wasn't there and he
Yeah,
grabbed Moss. Maybe he would have killed him. I don't know.
no. I don't know.
The
Maybe
the
he would
good
have played
thing
Mahjong with him.
One of the things I like about this movie is that the movie is like it goes back and forth between being sympathetic for Harry and like him being just a serial killer or a spree killer or something like that. But despite all that, you feel sympathetic for him, and I really like that about the writing.
The movie's constantly surprising me. Is it because when we get to the hospital, I'll tell you, like, I'll give you a good example, but we're not at the hospital yet. Is it now that he goes and begins like stealing toys?
Not yet. It's going to
Okay.
happen soon, but we do get a scene of him smelting, like we talked about earlier, making his own iron toy soldiers. Then 1 month later, it's Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
It's the company Christmas party. It's in full swing. And he's in his office, like getting ready for the Christmas party. He looks in the mirror and he does the nose thing from earlier that the Santa Claus in his dreams from when he was a child did, where he touches his nose and like points at it. But then he's smiling and he slides his hand across his face, wiping his smile into a frown.
Mhm.
I've seen that in other movies, and it's just always really effective. Like basically, he like has a
It's big
masked
Joker
society.
vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
You a big fan of Joker?
Not really, no. You know what?
No.
I'm a
It's
fan of
okay.
Joker, the character. I'm not a fan of his fans
Yeah.
and the people who
I've
idolize the Joker.
I actually thought that new movie was pretty decent, but then I just immediately like the fandom around it was a bit much. It's like, okay, guys, please stop.
The Joaquin Phoenix one or like the newest Batman?
Yeah. No, I haven't seen the Batman movie. I meant the Joaquin Phoenix one. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
it
just me
was good. It
though.
was a fine movie.
That's just me. I'm
All right.
different that way.
So at the Joker vibes, big Joker vibes. You got green hair right now. What are you doing? You're laughing maniacally. Everybody can see it.
I'm thinking of the fucking book fest when I had a breakdown and I was
Yo,
showing
I
my
was
fuck
just about to
Joker.
say that. Yeah. The first year of Ghoulish Book Festival, I don't know if it was day one or day two.
No.
And I came up to you, you were behind the counter or whatever, and you just started laughing maniacally. You just lost, and everybody was looking around like, "What the hell?" And you had the green
I
hair.
recall I recall not being able to stand, like I fell down laughing so hard.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was
it's good
about.
times. Ghoulish Book Festival coming up March 2024, right? March.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Buy a
Yeah,
ticket now. Ghoulishbookfest.com. The last one we will ever do.
that's what you said for the second one.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So then, at the company, how sorry, at the company Christmas party, there's like this televised video happening where the company is going to be donating such an amount of toys for the kids and stuff like that. If the workers can keep production high, they'll donate to the toys to the disadvantaged children at this state hospital. But also, if the workers want to give money, they can as well. And just then, Harry is greeted by one of his coworkers named Ben, who thanks him for taking Frank's place at the warehouse on the assembly line. I don't know why Ben is worried about, like, why he is putting himself in this situation. He has nothing to do with it. Even the writing, it's like, why wouldn't you just have Frank come up and do it? It was kind of weird for me. I didn't quite understand that.
Yeah. I zoned out a lot in this scene. I just know at some point he gets pissed off because they were being dishonest about the toy donations, I think, but I'm not quite positive what is happening.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that either. And uh, at one point, it gets kind of slow towards the middle there, so the pacing isn't
Hmm.
the best. But he basically he tells Ben that, don't worry, I've got your tune now, and this kind of follows throughout the rest of the movie. He's like, I've got the tune now. I can dance to it or something like that. And what I think he was saying is like in society, you have to dance to the tune that everybody else is dancing to in order to be seen as like a productive member of society or something like that. Well, I don't know if you caught the whole tune thing and what that meant for you.
I think what you were saying is what he meant. That sounds right. I mean, I know what you're talking about, and that's how I took it as well. I think maybe the issue with this movie, like you're saying, is it it tries to cover too much time. Like if this whole movie took place the week of Christmas, I think we would have a better paced movie. But it's like too many periods of time all tracked, and it makes it a little confusing about when things are happening.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, but then Frank is introduced to, no, I'm sorry. Uh, one second. All right, so then Frank introduces Harry to newcomer employee George. He calls him the kid, and the kid is almost bald and looks to be mid 30s. So I don't know why they're calling him the kid.
Dude, baby's old bald.
Well, that is true. That is true. Our baby's almost 30.
Yeah, I
Okay.
am.
So the party is going, it's raging, liquor is flowing. Um, in his office, Harry grabs some cloth sacks and steals toys off of the assembly line. He does that because he's angry that are like they don't know how many kids are at the hospital, so they don't know if they're going to have enough toys for all the kids there, and they're not really. It doesn't seem like they're genuine in donating to the kids, especially since it was Christmas
Yeah,
Eve and they hadn't done anything yet.
right. Yeah, I don't, it wasn't completely clear to me what they were being dishonest about, but they were doing something shady involving donating toys to a hospital. I don't know if they weren't going to donate any at all, or if they were just going to donate a couple, or what was going on. It wasn't clear to me. I thought maybe I missed something, but maybe You also don't know,
No,
so maybe they just didn't do a good job of explaining it.
yeah. So he's got three huge sackfuls, and then he drives out to some remote location and he shovels dirt into some sacks. I don't know why he needed to go to this remote location to get dirt, but maybe it's specific dirt that he wanted. At home, he's overjoyed at putting the Santa beard on with like that glue, like that stage glue, and he's laughing
Hmm.
maniacally, like he like has a nervous breakdown almost. And I feel like now that he's convinced that he truly is Santa Claus, like he's made the
Hmm.
transition at this point.
Yeah, from this point, we don't see him without the costume on. Like he, even later when like he's being chased, or even like when mealtime is passed, and the news is like, "Look out for Santa Claus." He never takes the costume off, which would immediately throw him off from suspicion. He just keeps it on.
Yeah, he's like, I've made my choice. So later that same evening, Harry manages to invade a family's home. Um, he sneaks into the house and he destroys. It's Phil's home. Sorry, it's his brother Phil's house. He destroys his nephew's Jolly Dreams toys and
Hmm.
instead delivers the newly minted soldiers that he just created, as well as to other toys from his own workshop. After that, he then leaves a bag full of dirt at Moss Garcia's doorstep, and we could still see the mark that he left in the house earlier. And we also
Hmm.
know it's Moss Garcia by the crudely drawn card that he leaves for him as well. Is this guy's got beef with like a 8-year-old boy?
I understood it immediately. I knew I knew where he was coming from.
Um,
I love it. I wish there was like more stuff to do with Moscow Garcia in this movie, but I don't think he comes back into it.
no, I think this is the last we see of him.
Damn.
Yeah. So Harry ends up wrapping the toys. He loads them into his van and he drives off to the hospital. He's knocking on the door. There's an old ass security guard comes out and isn't having any of his shit. He's like, "What are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here." But he comes around when Harry gives him a gift. And then he runs inside and gets some nurses who are overjoyed by his generosity. And
This is another example of it going against my expectations because he's like really trying to get into this hospital, and I immediately think that he's gonna stab this security girl, and he's gonna force himself inside to confront these kids with gifts. But it goes the opposite way. I mean, they all love him. Like the whole staff comes out to take to like unload this van of presents for the hospital, and they all love him. They're like hugging him and saying "Merry Christmas, Santa
yeah.
Claus." And you have to. I didn't really think about this until after finishing the movie. Do you think this scene is genuine, or do you think this is his fantasy of how the scene played out?
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
Because at the end, we get a scene, we'll not seeing reality. We'll seeing how he fantasizes the scene would play out.
You don't know
So I
that.
wonder if this is. I do know that.
You don't know
Um,
that.
the director has gone on interview saying yes.
Listen, you can make a movie, you can write a movie, and that's fine. But the way people perceive your
I
movie is
didn't
not
need
up to
him
you.
to tell I didn't need him to say that though. It was really obvious, Miguel. Just like how babies are bald. Really obvious. But do you think this scene is actually happening like that? Or do you think it was a bit more distressing and maybe he attacked somebody?
No, I think it happened like this because when it comes to children, he's always very gentle and kind, except when he's like spying on them and being a pervert that way. But like,
Right. But in this case, it's somebody preventing him from seeing the children. So do you think that security guard just suddenly flipped the switch? It was like, oh yeah, okay, let's do this. Or do you think it was something a bit more sinister? Because I'm undecided.
Yeah, but in the news reports of the incidents, they don't mention anybody being hurt at
Hmm.
the hospital or anything like that.
It's a good
Um,
point.
and and I think that like it goes to how much of Harry is still kind of underneath the Santa attire, that like he can recognize that. He even says something like, "Oh, my approach isn't the best. I need to change my approach." And so he changes his approach with the security guard, and he gives him that gift, and that allows the everything to happen. So I think it actually happened.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right. So later, around midnight, Harry's passing by a local church where we see parishioners are coming out, and two of the people that we see coming out are George and the boss from earlier. They even said that
Oh,
the
okay.
owner wants me to take him to midnight mass. So this was the midnight mass.
I'll be honest, I had no idea who these people were, and I was really confused why what happens. I just
Well,
thought, okay, so we're just randomly attacking people. I didn't
yes,
know who
that
they
does
were.
happen. That does happen because
Okay.
he doesn't end up killing those people. He ends up killing random
Oh,
people.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because so he gets to the church, he's at the bottom of the steps, and he looks up and he sees the man that he wants to kill. But these people get in front of him. They're like, "Oh, Santa, 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 but whatever, whatever." They're kind of making fun of him. And so he can't get to the people he wants to kill. So he pulls out the toy soldier with the sword in its hand and jams it in one of the guy's eyes. And then he takes an axe and then chops two other people in the head. So he ends up killing three people
Yeah.
really quickly.
It's
Uh,
isn't the toy like one of the King's Men? Is that what that is?
right, yeah. One of the toy soldiers is a
Yeah.
Kingsman. Yeah.
I've been stuck in King's Men TikTok lately. It's I can't get out of it.
How
It's
is
all I
that?
see these days. It's just there's so many TikTok videos of people trying to fuck with them, and they always, scream at the civilians, like, "Do not touch the Kingsmen." I watched one video to completion, and now that's all I get in my fucking algorithm. All these damn, and I can't skip them because if I do see one, I'm gonna watch it because I enjoy seeing young British men in big hats yell at people. I don't know why. It's just something I can't stop watching. So that's all I get on TikTok now.
All I get is free Palestine stuff. That's what I'm getting. So different
Well, different people.
algorithms. Yeah. So
Um, yeah,
sometime later, Harry pass no, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometime later, Harry passes by a local community center where a party is being held. This is more like of a more family oriented than the office party is, more wholesome. Two men outside see Harry in his Santa costume and mistake him for the Santa that was supposed to show up for the children. They pull him inside where Harry has fun mingling with the other attendees and giving toy soldiers to the children who are there. He even dances with a bunch of people. He soon leaves, but announces to the children to be good or they will not get any presents for next year. It's a very creepy scene where he's just pointing at them and being very, very sincere. And then
hmm
everybody's like silent and he just laughs it off and everybody else laughs it off. But you can see it was kind of unsettling on the parents' faces.
yeah. Until then, it's a pretty wholesome scene. Like he's still just having fun. I love this scene. It's great to see like him kill just these randos, and then immediately like go and just enjoy himself at a Christmas party. Like,
Yeah.
is he just completely denying what he just did? I don't know. How his brain operates is a it's a bit of a enigma, you know. It's really difficult to decipher.
Yeah. So he's at the Stoller home, the home of Frank, the guy who was bullying him at work. And he
Hmm.
brings a ladder with him, which I thought, oh God, this isn't going to end well.
Yeah,
And he climbs the ladder that he brought from home and he goes
yeah.
up on the roof and then he tries to get into the chimney, but he cannot do it.
He
It's
doesn't
so
even
sad.
come close.
No. And
Yeah.
he's straining and you could tell like his face looks so ashen and like he looks like he's just been through shit. Um, but he gets stuck in the chimney and he has to strain to get unstuck.
Yeah.
And he's so dejected. And he climbs back down and then he sees that there's these basement windows. And so he sneaks in through the basement window and he's delivering the kids' toys as they look on. Then he makes it to Frank's bedroom and he says something here that I forgot to write down. Something like you can't always get what you want, or you just want everything, or something like that. And then he starts smothering him with the bag of toys. His
Yeah.
wife is laying next to him, and for some reason, does not wake up.
She's a heavy sleeper. I don't know.
Apparently, the man is getting smothered, and it's not working. It's taking like 30 seconds, and he's not dying. So he has to pull out one of these toy soldiers and slash his throat. When he does that,
Mhm.
he lands on his wife, and that's when the wife wakes up.
I love the wife's reaction. It felt um uncomfortably realistic to me. Like she begins screaming, but she can't make any noise. And she's just like rasping for breath. And it's like she can't like react. Like her brain almost shuts down as she sees her husband's blood drain from his throat. It made me feel like really odd. I don't know. Like you don't usually see a reaction like that in the movie. I loved it.
Yeah, they typically go for like that scream queen scream
Hmm.
that we hear just in a like the next scene. But yeah,
Yeah.
the not screaming, I think was more effective than a scream would be right there.
Oh yeah. That was great, I thought.
Yeah.
I also want to say, for anyone who has dogs and they're like, oh, the dogs can't sleep in the bed with us. They're not human. They have to sleep outside or something. This is why you let dogs sleep in bed with you, because guess what? No one's going to sneak up and smother you if you have dogs sleeping with you. It's just not going to happen.
They can also just be in the room with you
Yeah. Do you sleep with the dogs you have or no?
in the room with us, yeah, but not in
Not
the
in
bed.
bed.
No.
Oh,
Listen,
okay.
we did that a couple times. There was a while when we first got the first dog we have, Chente. He's a small little puppy and he was like always scared and all that. So we let him sleep in bed with us and he would throw up in the middle of the night and we'd
Oh,
wake
yeah.
up and there'd be throw up on our legs and it was like, or
Yeah.
like it would have soaked through the sheets and the
Ugh.
bed thing. And it's like, fuck this. We're not doing that anymore.
Frank has done that once, and it was pretty awful because he did it. He didn't do it in bed. He did it standing at the edge of the bed. So it went on the edge of the bed, but then it went on between the frame and where the mattress goes.
Oh,
So like
fuck.
it was a pain in the ass to clean up. But he's only done that once. We sleep with three dogs. It's something.
That's
And
too much,
two
man.
of those dogs have to be on me. So Conan has to, his whole thing is he has to use like my thighs as a hammock. So he has to be right between them. And then Frank, we basically spoon. I don't know. It's just how he sleeps. Usually his head is on the pillow and next to mine. And I usually have to hold him like this. Well, sometimes I'm with the little spoon. And then he's against my back. And
Meanwhile,
then
your
once in a
wife is
while,
like, can I get a snuggle or something?
once in a while, I'll wake up to him like leaning forward and kissing like my neck. He falls back asleep. I live a good life.
Sounds like a good life, man.
A
Um,
sexless life. It's too many dogs in bed.
no, you just got to go for it. Just got to go for it.
I try.
Um, so he Max, please. So then he's killed Frank. He's left the bedroom, and now the kids are smiling at him, like because they just think it's Santa Claus. They're smiling at
Yeah.
him as he goes to leave. He turns back to look at them and just smiles at them. And then we hear the wife start screaming. And then
Yeah.
Harry is like shocked back to reality. He's like, oh shit. Oh yeah, I did just fucking murder somebody. And then he leaves. The look on his face when he did that was just so good.
I th I think this movie is kind of brilliant because the writing of it, the way it's able to bring like the whole like theme of the movie back like completely like a fucking 360, because everything that happened with him in the beginning of the movie, Will, he has this traumatic experience with Santa at his house. He's just given that same experience but multiplied by like 100 to these two kids. Now, how the fuck are they gonna grow up now? It's really cool, I think.
And there's not these aren't the only kids that he fucks up.
No,
He fucks
yeah.
up his niece and nephew. He fucks up some random kids that he sees in the alleyway. We'll get to that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. So on Christmas morning, his brother Phil begins to suspect something is seriously wrong with his brother, and he argues with his wife Jackie. Their children are preoccupied with watching one of the weirdest or weirdest movies I've ever seen, called Babes in Toyland. That's with Laurel and Hardy. And
I've
do
never
not
seen
seem,
it.
yeah, I've only seen snippets from it. It looks weird. Don't want to watch it.
Mm,
And
okay.
they're playing with the toys that their uncle left with them last night. Then we hear the TV news report about the murders. Um, and the guy that is the news reporter here, he's modeled after Geraldo Rivera. And you may or may
Yeah.
not know who that is.
I know him.
Um,
Yeah.
okay. But at this point in time, he was just like a local reporter for the East Coast. And so he wasn't like the celebrity that everybody that he would come to be. So it's kind of funny
Hmm.
that that's why it felt like a very, I already mentioned this before, but you know how John Waters always films like in Baltimore and he uses like
Yeah.
Baltimore natives and all that. That's what this felt like. It was like it felt like a local guy filming in New Jersey and like kind of using local people.
Do you know if it was filmed in New Jersey? I don't know.
Yeah, that base. I mean, I don't. All I know is based on the research that I did that it says it was filmed in New Jersey. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Like it was set in New Jersey. Are you asking if it was also shot
Yeah.
in New Jersey? I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Because I know it was shot in the winter time because I know it was legit cold, but I also know the snow is fake. So I
Right.
don't know. The snow
Uh,
I think I saw was just like shredded up paper that they blew around with a fan.
yeah, I'm looking right now. It says the filming location was Glen Ridge, New Jersey.
Hmm, okay. I assume it snows in New Jersey. Maybe it just wasn't time to snow yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm, okay.
All right. So he goes back to the warehouse and he activates the assembly lines, which ends up breaking a lot of the toys. He really hates these toys. Um, Meanwhile, an all points bulletin has been posted by the police to begin searching the area for murderous Santa Clauses. Several street corner Santas have been brought in for questioning, as well as a police lineup. And
Yeah.
in front of like the witnesses to the three murders outside of the church. And these Santas are pretty funny. There's even one black Santa, and the black Santa is like, "You've got to be fucking kidding me."
Yeah. I love the whole scene of the Santa lineup. I mean, no notes. It was really comical to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so fucking funny. Just imagining them rounding up every Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And also, again, I brought this up previously. Just take the costume off at this point, and no one will know. No one will suspect you.
Well,
I
I was
think
thinking
at
the
this
same
point
thing.
you've gotten away scot-free. Just take the costume off, buddy.
I was thinking the same thing, but he also has that beard that's glued on. I don't know how you get that off. I think there's like some special oil or something you got to use for that. But he could trim it down and just have like a nice shaved white beard.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah, I think so.
I want to be when I get older. I know I'm already old, but when I get older, I want to be. I'm
Yeah.
getting some gray here. I want to be
Uh-huh.
look cool with an all gray beard. I think it'd look cool.
I don't know if you could pull it off. We'll see.
Can you grow a beard?
Nope.
You
That's
just
about
just
all
the
I can
goatee?
do. Yeah, this is all I can do. I mean, it'll be patchy. It looks stupid, so I just shave it.
Okay.
It's really like redneck patchy looking.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll let you
it's
I'll
it,
let you in. Go ahead.
it upsets me because my dad, he can get like a fucking Stephen King build going, but I can't do it. It really frustrates me. None of my brothers can. I guess it's off like the mom's side, right? And my
Oh, I don't
mom
know.
couldn't grow build either, so I don't know. No, I'm not even gonna say that. It might be too racist. You go on. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I'll let you in on a little hint.
Yeah,
I've been doing Rogaine here and here.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
only supposed to be for the back here, but I was
Hmm.
growing thin up here, and I was like, "Well, fuck it, try it. Why not?" And it's been working. But then I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
let me see." I started using it on my beard to try to fill in these patches here,
Yeah.
and it's working. So maybe you
What
use some Rogaine.
exactly is it? Is it a lotion?
You can buy it in couple forms. I think there's a liquid version of it, which you just apply it, whatever. I bought the foam, and it just comes
Yeah,
like if it comes in a like mousse. Have you ever done mousse like for your
yeah,
hair? It's like that. You just the
yeah.
foam and you got to rub it in. That's why I shave my head because when you apply it, it's got to go directly into the scalp. And then I had long skin. I mean, ugh, long skin sounds terrible.
Disgusting. I
I
know you
had
have long skin, and I'm the one who's circumcised. Go on.
I had long hair, so I wasn't getting to it. So you need to go directly to the scalp. That's my Rogaine. If you want to sponsor, let me know.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try it.
All
I
right.
can't, I
Moving
can't
on.
even get that. Can't even get this to connect. It's really frustrating.
You don't
I'm
worry.
just a, I'm just a child.
Do you want to know why I started using it on my beard? Is because friend of the show, Betty Rocksteady, she drew a picture of me for the Ghoulish website,
That's not.
and it didn't connect. And I was like, "What? My beard totally
That's
connects."
why.
Yes.
I can't wait to tell Betty this. It's really
I
funny.
I was like, "Yo, it totally connects." And then I was like, "Well, I could
No,
see it connects, but like from this vantage point, I guess you can't see that it connects."
you almost look like me in the illustration. We have similar facial hair in the illustration that she made,
Yeah, except that she gave
but
me the beard, which I appreciate.
I don't have that.
Yeah,
I just have the sideburns, the mutton chops.
mutton
No,
chops.
not
Yeah,
at the
it's.
moment. Not at the moment.
I like the clean look. I like the clean look.
Yeah.
All right, moving back,
Are we
moving
done with this movie?
on. Not
I've
yet.
run out of notes. The
Good,
Santa
good, good,
lineup was
good.
my last note.
Which one was?
It just says Santa lineup, and we
Oh,
just
okay.
talked about that.
Yeah. So then Harry calls Phil and says, "Yeah, I finally found the right notes, like we were talking about earlier. It's like I could play the tune that everybody dances to, but it's my version. I'm going to play my tune now. Everybody will dance. You don't have to worry anymore." Then he hangs up. That night, he drives off with his van, and his van becomes stuck in the snow on a beautifully decorated street with plenty of lights, and it looks so good. The way they maybe this neighborhood was already like that, but is basically like dozens and dozens of lit up reindeer that look great in the dark, against the snow or the quote unquote snow. And
Yeah.
I think it sends him into like a further delusional state because he's like, I am surrounded by this now. And he was even pretending that his van was a sleigh and he was like whipping the reindeer.
Hmm.
So he's the van is stuck in the snow, so now he's on foot. His costume is dirty and disheveled, and he looks fucking exhausted. He eventually finds himself in his brother's neighborhood. He's walking through the alleyways, and he comes across the group of children, or I don't know if it's the same group of children or just no, it might be a different group of children.
I thought
And
the one kid was Susie, little Susan, the
was
one
it?
who stops old dad. I don't know. I just assumed, but I don't honestly know.
Yeah, because my thinking was how convenient is that he lives close enough to his brother that they both
Yeah.
share the same neighbors, you know? So, but
Right. So
maybe.
maybe not. Maybe it's just a different. I mean, all kids want to protect Santa, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it could have been anyone.
So he's trying to give them, they come around him and they're happy. Santa's giving them toys. Then the children's parents happen by and they believe Harry to be the killer Santa Claus. So one of the
Yeah.
fathers, comes at him with a switchblade. But
Yeah.
before he can do that, his daughter runs at him and like, no, no, don't do it. His wife comes and's like, don't hurt our baby. For some reason, like he knocks the wife down and starts like fighting with her. He
He
loses the
immediately throws his wife down.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Uh,
He loses
Somehow the knife
switchblade.
falls down. I don't know how, but he drops it. And the kid picks it up. And I'm thinking, is she gonna stab his dad? Full dad?
Um,
Because that would be amazing.
I was thinking the
That
same
doesn't
thing. I was
happen.
thinking how cool that would be.
Yeah,
But no,
because all of
she
these kids at this point, they have like surrounded the Santa Claus, like to protect him from everyone who wants to kill him. And like they've made like this child wall around him, which is cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, so they allow him to get away because they block him in.
Yeah.
And then, but as he's kind of getting away, one of the women grabs her brooch, and like stabs him in the cheek. And
Hmm.
so he starts bleeding from the cheek, which starts going down his wig, no, his fake beard.
Yeah, but
So
also the kid hands him the switchblade, and I am surprised at no point as he's escaping, he doesn't stab anybody. I thought that's where that was leading. Like he bumps into several people as he's running away, but he doesn't stab anyone, right?
right, he doesn't. And again,
Seems like a waste of a knife.
I think it has something to do with the presence of children. Like he does not
Yeah.
harm anybody when children are present. Like
Hmm.
visibly, like where they can see him. Obviously, he kills Frank at his house and the kids are in the other room, but they didn't see it. So
Right.
all of a sudden, all those parents they form a torch-bearing mob, which I haven't seen since like a Frankenstein movie. Always great to
Oh, it's
see.
really much like Frankenstein. I mean, that whole scene is really Frankenstein-esque, I think. I mean, he's
Yeah,
even created his own Frankenstein on himself, if you think about it.
he is both Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster.
Hmm.
To be fair, his dad is Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein, because he was going down on his mom, and then he would be Frankenstein's monster. I don't know, whatever. But that's what the director said, that he never saw it as a slasher movie. He saw it more as a monster Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
So this is where they're chasing him down that alleyway. This is that scene that I was telling you was so fucking good.
Hmm.
Just the cinematography and the shot, the setup for the shot, I really enjoyed it. And then I felt so much sympathy for Harry at this point because, like, at this point, he is running for his life. Yes, he's killed people. I understand that, but he is mentally unwell.
Hmm.
He's not right in the head, and so he is a victim just as much as everybody else. He just never got the help that he needed, and now it's too late.
I Phil is a really funny segment of the scene. Well, he's running away and he decides to hide like in a bunch of like filled build boxes, and he sits like that for a moment, and then immediately he's like, "No, this isn't gonna work." He just keeps running again. Is that what that was? Is that am I remembering that correctly? Will he like
I
tries to hide then gives up?
I think what he's so tired that he falls into a bunch of cardboard boxes, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
taking a breath like to kind of catch his breath, but immediately the mob is right behind him, so he has to jump out really quick. But he does do a funny
I
voice,
see.
a funny face. So
Okay.
now like the movie is kind of going at a quick pace. He drives. He gets to his van and he manages to dislodge it from the snow and the sludge and all that, and he drives to his brother's house, which is nearby. As soon as Phil sees him, he quickly realizes that Harry is the homicidal Santa that he's heard announced in the news. And Harry
Although I
tries to
think
just
he suspected this already, right?
he knew something was wrong. And
Yeah.
he when he was talking to his wife earlier, he's like, "Stop talking. I need to hear this." Yeah, so I could say that he was probably suspecting something there.
Okay.
And then Harry tries to justify his actions to his brother, saying, like, I don't really even know, like, you didn't believe, and so I needed to show you or something like that. But Phil was like not having any of it. He's like, I was 6 years old. So he proceeds to choke him out in front of his wife and kids. And so this is again how
Hmm.
another set of kids is fucked up mentally for the rest of their lives. Oh, and also the scene earlier with the kids in that were kind of surrounding him. Their parents are
Yeah.
trying to kill Santa Claus. So that's another set of kids that are all fucked up.
Yeah, by accident, he's going around just ruining Christmas for so many kids.
Yeah.
Well,
So
except
then,
this scene. I mean, his brother is pretty much just strangling him.
yeah. Well, so he strangles him and then throws him on the ground. And we think, at this point, we don't know if Harry is dead or not, but Phil thinks he killed him, so much so that he immediately picks him up and drags him out of the house and throws him into the front seat of his van, and where he's like kind of trying to figure out his next moves. And his
Yeah,
wife and kids saw him do this.
yeah, what is the plan here exactly? Why is he do this?
He's just gonna say, "Hey, I woke up this morning and my brother, my kid brother or my older brother was dead in the van," and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Although they're
I
gonna
guess that
see
makes
that he was
sense.
strangled, so I don't fucking know. He was panicking. But while he's in the front seat of the car, Harry comes to and he fucking punches Phil in the face. Amazing,
It's really
amazing hit.
funny.
And he drives off with Phil in hot pursuits. So while he's driving, he comes across the mob again. He can't escape them. They appear on the road, and he that forces him and his van off of a bridge. Phil is still chasing him, and then Phil like tumbles down that bridge. Then the van is shown um, flying off the bridge and then magically flying off towards the moon as Harry's voiceover reads, "'Twas the night before Christmas." The end of that one. And that's the end of the movie. That's how it ends. Now let's talk about that ending. So you said earlier that you thought that this was not the real ending, this is the ending
Yeah,
that Harry saw in his head.
it's what he's imagining as he fucking breathes his last breaths at the bottom of that ditch he drove off of.
Okay.
A
To
hundred
me,
percent. There's no other way to read this ending.
you don't tell me how I can read or not read things. To me,
It's not. It's not even vague.
um I like it just because of the fact that it's fantastical. And there was a scene early in the movie where I thought, man, if this goes fantastical, that would be so great. And I wish I could remember what scene it was now. I was talking to Hillary about it, but then it didn't go. It just stayed, realistic or whatever. But then this last scene where it goes fantastic, I was like, oh man, that's really cool. I like it. Again, just another point in the fact that this isn't a slasher, right?
Mhm.
Slashers don't end like this, right? Slashers end with the reveal of all the bodies or something like that. So, and not to talk shit about slashers. I love slashers. It's just I don't believe this to be a slasher. So I don't know. In
We can
my
talk shit about slash olds. That's okay. I don't like them.
to me, I prefer this ending. In fact,
Yeah, I mean, so do I.
it's kind of like your ending, and I won't go into it, but it's like your ending in The Last Hunt. Where something fantastical happens, or
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much, but where something happens and the rest of society doesn't believe it happened, but it did actually happen.
Hmm.
And this the end of this movie, something fantastical happened, and maybe the rest of society won't believe what happened, but it did fucking happen. That's my chosen understanding the movie. Now, I also see what
So
you're
what,
saying,
let
where
me
it's
ask
like,
you this. Okay, let's say he actually did fly to the moon. Do you think he's alive, buddy? The moment he fucking got up, Phil, he fucking suffocated and froze. He's
I don't
dead
think
either way.
I don't think he flew to the moon. I think he flew. Santa Claus doesn't fly on the
Do you
moon.
think he's up on that moon right now, buddy, with the American flag?
We've never
And
seen the other side of the moon. Is all I'm going to say.
it's a fucking crashed van with a skeleton in it.
Can you imagine every time we looked up, there's just a crashed van on the side of the moon? That'd be awesome.
I agree.
Yeah. So, but no, that's my, but I understand what you're saying. What, for your interpretation of the movie, that ending, I would have liked to see like him crashing or him going off into the moon, and then maybe the very last second we see the wreckage of the crash. You know,
Have you
something like that.
seen have you seen a movie called Saint Maud?
Yes,
Okay,
love it.
spoiler alert for Saint Maud for anyone listening. That movie has an ending like what you were talking about. Well, she's living in this fantasy, and then the very last second in the movie, she's in flames on that beach. So you want something like that.
Yeah, amazing. I fucking love it. Yes,
Yeah.
because you think, oh
I
man,
like
you're
that.
so happy, and then you're like torn back to reality with what actually fucking happened. You know,
Yeah. I
great movie. I gotta want to see that movie again.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I think I prefer the way it's ended now with it up for to debate. Although I do think that dude's fucking dead. Billy's in a mental hospital at this point. Um,
Yeah.
the way I love this movie. What did your wife think of it? Because she was watching with you, right?
Yeah, she liked it. She enjoyed it. I mean, it's a 80s movie, so for the 80s movie, she can see them mostly. I think she enjoyed it. I don't think it was like her favorite movie and all that, but I think she enjoyed it. For me, I thoroughly enjoyed it a lot. It was um one of my favorite Christmas slashers or Christmas, not slashers, Christmas horror movie. And I kind of want to talk to you about some more like holiday horrors that you might have, but maybe we can do that on the Sunday School Sessions, which is a Patreon exclusive show that I do with all my guests. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/my horror confessional, where you get Sunday School Sessions, you get the episodes early, and a bunch of other stuff. You get the
I was gonna ask you
Zoom
some Christmas
shows.
questions.
Oh,
I
let's
was
save them
gonna
for
ask
that.
you
Let's
some
save it for
quick.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
will do.
But for now, let's go ahead and rate this movie out of five upside down crosses. What would you give Christmas Evil from 1980?
So it has a few flaws in the pacing, I think, but despite that, I'm gonna give it five. I really loved it.
Five.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it has way more pros than cons, and the few cons it does have, it's like okay, whatever. Because the pros of it are just so great, and I can see myself revisiting this movie every December. I can't believe I had never even heard of it before. It's so good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I kind of
five.
agree. Okay. I can't go five with you. It did kind of, I did find myself kind of getting bored a bit, somewhere in the middle. The pacing was off a bit, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. The acting was really good. The main actor, what's his name again? Fiona Apple's dad, Brandon Maggart. He did a great job with it. The writing, the direction, the cinematography, I think it was really great. I'm going to give it four upside down crosses for me.
The
One last
movie is
question.
so well made that it made me sad. This is the only movie we have by this guy. It's like
Right.
he's obviously capable of making a good movie. And it's just like, man, that's it. That's all we got.
This feels like the lifetime creative output of a person. Like, and I'm
Hmm.
sure he tried to make movies, like you said, he tried to make movies later. Um,
Hmm.
and I wish he had, but this feels like he put as much of his creative juices as he possibly could into it, and what shows up, and it shows up on the screen because it's just great. It's not just a great holiday movie. I can watch this movie anytime throughout the year. Like I don't need to wait. I'm glad that I have another Christmas horror movie, but like I can watch this at any time because it's just a good movie.
Hmm.
So I did want to ask you, just like we do at the end of every episode, for a suggestion of another horror movie, a Christmas themed horror movie like this one. So do you, or even it could be like a TV show, another, or just anything that the listeners can watch similar in vein to this.
Yeah,
And
I
if you'd
don't
like,
know the
I can
name
go
of it
first.
though.
Okay.
I'll go. Thulze, I think it's season one. It's a Christmas themed episode of Tales from the Crypt. I would recommend that. I don't know the name of it, but I think it's in season one. Just
Okay.
Google Tales from the Crypt Christmas, and I'm sure it's going to pop up. I think they only had one Christmas episode, but it's about Santa Claus. It's like a home invasion type of episode. Pretty good.
Oh, oh, never mind. But it was the TV show.
Yeah, the TV show.
Okay, because
Yeah,
there
I
was
think it's
also
season one.
because in 1972 the movie Tales from the Crypt had a Christmas segment as well called All Through the House.
What do you mean the movie?
So
The only
Tales
movie
from
I
the
know about is Demon Knight.
no, well, and they had Bordello of Blood as well after that, but no,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
Tales from the Crypt had a movie that came out in 1972, way before the Crypt Keeper was a thing, and it was an anthology movie as well.
Yeah, I'm talking about And All Through the House.
Okay, that's from 1972.
Yeah.
So maybe they just replayed it, or maybe they redid it for the HBO TV show.
Yeah, it's season one, episode two.
Okay, is Joan Collins in it?
Hold on. I don't know. I'm fucking on. I can't even find the IMDb. Okay, here's the IMDb page. Joan Collins? No.
Okay, so that's the one I'm talking about is Tales from the Crypt.
It's
The
22
movie.
minutes long. A greedy woman makes the mistake of killing her husband while an escaped mental patient dressed in a Santa Claus outfit is on the loose. Directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Okay, this one, the one I'm talking about, is from 1972, directed by Freddie Francis,
The
and
one
it's
I'm
from
talking
this.
about is 1989.
Okay,
What the
so they're
fuck?
different. They're different. But Tales from the Crypt did have a movie that came out in the 70s. That was an anthology movie, um, starring Joan Collins and Peter Cushing.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that one, I'd recommend it. But okay, so that was your recommendation. I'm going to say the other one. So just to kind of play off of that, Tales from the Crypt segment and All Through the House from 1972, which is the 1972 Tales from the Crypt movie. That one was a lot of fun as well. So there you have it. Both Tales from the Crypt segments called and All Through the House are our recommendations. So Max and I are going to continue talking about some of our favorite horror movie, Christmas horror movies. And Max has some Christmas themed questions for me. We're going to continue talking about that on the Sunday school sessions. Max, could you let everybody know how they can follow you and how they can support you?
Yeah, just go on over to fuckmaxbooth.com and you can find out all types of stuff about me. I just announced recently I am reprinting my first three novels. So if you want signed copies of those, go on over to fuckmaxbooth.com and pick up a signed copy. Those books are called Toxicity, the mind is a razor blade, and how to successfully kidnap strangers. Those were my first three novels from a decade ago. So they will coming back to print after not being in print for a long time. So go pick them up.
Nice. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Live spooky, die spooky.